What's up, guys, and welcome back to LoverCast episode number 5. I'm pretty happy, guys. I've kept up my New Year's resolution of consistently recording these every single Sunday. Haven't missed a week yet, so I'm really happy about that. So today's topic is one of my favorite topics ever. We're going to be talking about books, but before we get into that topic, I want to start answering some more questions before we start. One of my favorite fans, actually, Alex, has told me, he's like, Zach, I really wish you would do more AMAs, answer more questions. And so when I started this, I was answering questions. I was like, hey guys, ask me questions, I'll answer them. Well, I kind of got away from that, basically forgot to ask you guys to ask me. So please leave a comment, ask me a question. We're going to try to answer 3 of these at the beginning of every podcast, things that you guys are curious about. So the first question, guys, today is from Alex Gaming, the guy who literally gave me this idea. And he says, have you ever had a thought that you can't do this anymore, you should quit? Like, what would be the reason why you would quit or why you feel that way? And truthfully, yes. I mean, dude, that happens all the time to me and probably to everyone that's chasing something crazy like this. Because you're constantly, as much as you shouldn't, comparing yourself to people. Like, why did this guy grow to 1 million subs and he started after I did? Why is he so much better than me? But you just got to remind yourself why you do it. And then the most important thing to me to kind of get around this, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I should quit, is realizing that the world wants you to succeed. Like, the world wants me. The world wants you. Like, there's plenty of PewDiePies. There's plenty of Casey Neistats, David Dobrik. You know, there's all these other guys. So don't try to be like them. Don't try to compare yourself to them because the world doesn't really want another one of them. The world wants you. The things that make you unique are the things that are going to make you successful. So I remind myself that all this stuff I do that's weird and different and maybe not like these other people are the things that are eventually going to lead me to be successful. So I remind myself that my uniqueness or your uniqueness is your best asset. And that is kind of how I get over the I can't do this or I should quit, because I remind myself that if I be myself, I will eventually get there. So that's something that's really recently new in my mind. So I really wanted to answer that because I thought it was pretty cool, pretty powerful stuff. Next question coming in from Hayden Smith. Thank you, dude, for the Loverfella logo, my man. He says, what was the lowest point in your life? How did you push yourself to move on? It's actually quite a lot of questions. So we'll answer this one real quick first. The lowest point in my life was when my first girlfriend of 7 years, Lauren, and I broke up. And a month after that, my parents got divorced and my mom left my life for 3 years. And 4 months after that, I broke my finger and needed surgery. And 3 months after that, I got a crazy disease that was incurable. My tonsils removed, went to the emergency room, and basically was given a permanent speech impairment. That was all over the course of 1 year. I consider that a low point because every single time I thought I hit it, it got lower and lower and lower and lower. And then after all of this happened, this girl that I was in love with, Lauren too, we broke up right after my emergency room trip. And so all that compounded together to create a year of unbelievable pain and unbelievable suffering, like stuff that I literally can't even put into words, the places that I was in through all of that. It was horrifying, the feelings that I went through. But I think it was one of the biggest growth times of my life. If I look back at who I was a year ago, I don't even recognize it. It seems like I've lived 10 years in the last year, and it's hard to believe that all of that's happened in such a short amount of time. So honestly, I wouldn't wish that stuff went away. I'm glad that stuff happened because that stuff really made me who I am. That stuff gave me this drive and this motivation and this desire to become more than what I am. And it really showed me that no one is there for you forever. You got to be there for yourself. You got to love yourself. And it was low, man, but it was so worth it. And I'm not saying I look forward to more moments like that, but I'm definitely not avoiding them. I'm not running away. I'm not hiding. I'm just doing what I want to do. And if bad things happen, I'll get through it. If I got through all of that, I can probably get through anything. He has a couple more questions. Am I proud of what the Lover Empire has become? Absolutely. And what inspired the slogan, Spread the Love? A lot of reasons on what came from Spread the Love. But the main reason really we have Spread the Love is because I realized that small acts of kindness can make massive differences. And so I wanted to create a community of people that could do things to just create these waves of positive energy. Really, it started with all these bad things that happened to me. And if someone did something small, like they came up to me and they were like, hey, Zach, I really like that shirt. Like something as small as that just made my day. And you never know what people are going through. And so I try to bring this message up to remind people that you really don't know. Maybe someone went through all the stuff I went through or worse. Maybe telling them you like their shirt or just being nice and friendly can literally change their life, really just make their day or their week or their month. So it's powerful. And I think that's why it's there. So those are 3 questions today. Thank you so much, guys, for asking. Leave a comment, #AskLover below, and maybe yours will make it in. But I'm looking for good questions, all right? I need nice, juicy, just delicious things to sink my little teeth into. You know what I'm saying? All right. Let's jump into the topic of this episode, which is books. So I really didn't know what I was going to talk about today, and I usually do this by looking through books that I've read and the lessons I've learned, and I take these lessons and I give them to you, and I say, hey, this is important, this will change your life, this is what I learned from my 15 hours of reading this book. But this past month has been the most reading I've ever done in my entire life. I've actually read 80 hours since January started. 80 hours. If you put that into, like, if you think about that, that's like working a full-time job for 2 weeks just reading. And I pretty much have been reading every second I get. I'm pooping on the toilet, I got headphones in. Got a waterproof speaker so I can read in the shower. If I'm cooking, if I'm cleaning, if I'm editing, if I'm making thumbnails, I am reading always because I've fallen in love with reading. So the reason that it's a topic today is because if you want to reach these goals that you set for yourself, no matter what they are, then you have to understand that you won't get there without learning. The foundation of any type of success is through learning, but the foundation of extreme success is not through just learning. It's through learning a whole bunch of different things and making your own connections. Kind of ties back into being unique. So you see, the way you learn things is different than the way someone else learns things, and the way that you make those connections in your mind is different than someone else. Let me give you an example. When I started reading books about business. I was really into being a businessman. And as I read more and more, I got into books about how to talk to people, right? That's important for business. Well, then I started trying to use that charisma in my YouTube videos. Well, then from there, I was like, oh my gosh, how else can I influence people? I started reading books about how to get power, how to be seductive to people on camera, like really interesting, super deep niche topics, how to be attractive to males, how to be attractive to females, how to be attractive to both, how to pull people in, like all these books about how to be more exciting. Now I'm currently reading books about how to be an actor. I'm not going to be an actor, although it'd be cool. I'm reading that because I think I can use some of the principles actors use in my YouTube videos to be more charismatic and energetic. So these are my own pathways I'm creating. I'm basically forging my own path. And I imagine it like those little Plinko games. If you know what Plinko is, you like drop a ball and it hits pegs and randomly goes down a path and eventually falls into a hole. You see, that's kind of like how it is when you read these books. Each book takes you down a different path. All right, you're going to hit the peg and go right or left. Then you're going to hit that peg, go left or right. And you're going to keep going, keep digging your own path. And eventually you've created a path that probably not many people, if anyone, has ever done before. And so now you have all this crazy knowledge, and then you start tying it together and then learning new things. And then eventually, with your own thoughts, your own action in your mind, you can turn this into something new, something that no one's ever seen before. So you can start breaking rules, inventing new genres, inventing new niches by learning things and by learning things that you're interested in. So somehow I started from wanting a business to going to relationships, to going to how to talk to people, to going to how to seduce people, to freaking how to act, right? What's next? I don't know, but I keep getting new ideas, and those new ideas take me to new books. So the overall reason why you should read is because these pathways start forming in your mind and you start making new connections. And with these new connections, you can become something unique that no one's ever seen and then become extremely successful in whatever field it is you want. So what I recommend is just pick a random book, start reading it, find a good one, and just fall in love with the process of learning. That is the most powerful thing that you could ever do, because if you don't feel passionate about reading and learning and watching YouTube videos and podcasts about real nonfiction, great information stuff like this, then you're really not going to reach likely that level of success that you want, because people like me or people crazier than me are reading 80 to 90 to 100 hours a month. Just imagine what you could learn if you took 100 hours into your field and just studied and just learned. Some of the books that I've read recently teaching about human nature, how people act. They teach me about how to build power over people through just all these. It's just crazy the amount of stuff that I'm learning and the amount of stuff I have left to learn. And with every single book, I try to take out something called a nugget. I call it a nugget of knowledge. It's pretty stupid. Sounds like something you'd hear in elementary school. But I get these nuggets of knowledge and then I use them, 3, 4, 5 little ideas, and I use them to try to change my life and change my paradigm. So one book I read recently, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, goes into detail about, I think I mentioned it last week, about all the crazy stuff this guy goes through. He's a Navy SEAL, etc., does crazy things. You can hear all about it in my last episode, which is all about this. That one changed everything for me, and it's still changing my life to this day. I'm reading a book now about how to talk to anyone, 92 Tricks for Success in Relationships. I can use that to talk to more people, build more influence, etc. So books are extremely important, but I want to leave you guys with this thought right here, and this is probably something very powerful. Hopefully, will convince you to read if you're not already reading. When you think about it, people say learn from experience, right? Learn from your failures. That's powerful. If you mess up and you learn from it, you probably won't do that again, right? If I mess up on a test when I was a kid, I learned that question I missed, and that was the one question I would never forget, right? I always remember my mistakes. You don't remember all the good things you do. You remember your mistakes, and you learn from those mistakes. But then I realized you don't you don't have to learn from your mistakes. You can learn from others' mistakes. And if you read a book that someone wrote when they were 60 years old, and it's a 500-page book of all the lessons and mistakes and principles and laws that they learned, then you spend 12 hours to learn what it took this person 60 years to learn. So let's say you read for, 80 hours in a month, and every one of those books is a compilation of 40 to 50 years of experience down into a couple of hours each. In those 80 hours, I learned what would have taken lifetimes and generations of experience to learn, just from reading these other people's books and their lives and their mistakes and their lessons. If you think you know everything, you will never be successful. And I think the more I learn, the more I realize what I don't know. Like, the smarter I get, the dumber I feel. And it's really interesting because now, the more I get into these books, the more open doors I have and paths I want to go down and topics I realize I know absolutely nothing about that I need to know about to get to where I want to be. So you don't have to learn from your mistakes. You can learn from others. And so that's something I really, 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 really advise doing. And frankly, my opinion is, if you want to be the top of your field, you want to be successful in whatever it is you're doing, you will never, ever, ever, ever get there without extreme luck unless you are reading constantly. So reading is what's going to get you there. I am not even sponsored by Audible. I wish they would, but literally get it. All right. I don't care if you use, I don't even think I have a link. Like, I don't use your favorite YouTuber's link. Get it. It's like the greatest thing you will ever do. It will change your life. It is absolutely insane. And if you don't want to pay for Audible, you want to read, then just read. Get a Kindle, get it on your phone, whatever. I don't care. You need to read. If you're not reading and you're listening to this podcast because you want to be successful, then I don't feel like you have no business even listening to this, because you're probably not going to get to where you want to be. I guarantee you can find time. Don't use that as an excuse. I'm freaking working 50 hours a week as an engineer. I'm working 30 to 40 hours a week on YouTube videos, and I still have time to read 80 hours a month. All right. You can find time. You're cooking, you're cleaning, you're pooping. Listen always, or carry a book around. I don't care what you do. Maybe you're riding a train, you're listening, or you're reading there. When you're driving, you're listening. All of this time you have, don't waste it. Use it to learn. Guys, reading is life-changing. It shows you so many things that you never thought of. It shows you so many experiences and so many different points of view that it gives you so much power in a way that I really just can't even explain. It's amazing. So guys, with that, I just want to say thank you again for watching. Leave a no, you listened, you didn't watch this. Maybe you did, but leave a comment, hashtag ask lover. Give me your best questions. We'll answer them again at the beginning of next week's episode. As always, have an amazing day. You guys are awesome. See you all next week. Spread the love. Peace.